Sun in the sky, sun in the sky. You know
It's pretty
how.
crowded. Just to the right is the boat launch area. Got a nice ice cream shop and bakery to the left there. A few nice murals. And over to the right here is the main parking area for the docks. And this is the entrance to the marina. And a lot of people come down to go either on Major Marine or Kenai Fjords tours to go sightseeing, glacier viewing, and so on, or to go on fishing trips. And you come down and park here on the right. Looks like a lot of real small Alaskan towns. A few seafood restaurants there on the right by the marina. So I'm right down here by the marina, and behind me is the Train Recreation Center. They have a pretty nice bike shop here, and they can do bike repairs, bike rentals, and bike sales as well. So right above the train there is Mount Marathon, and some more nice murals down here. This is one of the great tour companies. This is their private dock, and then this is where they load up down here. A little bit smaller boats, but some good sightseeing. It's always kind of fun to come down here and walk on the docks and look at all the different boats. Fishing trawlers out here, and Icicle Seafoods with fish processing, and then City of Seward gantry to take boats out of the water. So I'm just looking at the downtown area here of Seward, and there's a lot of fun things to do here. It's one of my favorite little Alaskan towns. There's hiking, bike riding, some good bike riding trails. There's sightseeing by boat. There's fishing. You can go on a fishing tour or just fish off of the docks down at the ocean. You can hike up into the mountains near here. You can take a boat out and go shrimping or crabbing. You can go see some of the various nature attractions, such as the Kenai Fjords and glaciers that are in this area. There's a Kenai Fjords Park where you can see glaciers and a lot of wildlife. Looking over here to my right is Mount Marathon, and every 4th of July weekend they have a marathon race up to the top and back. So that's a major attraction on the 4th of July. You can see the trail is right up there. To the top, they take the quickest route to the top and back down, scrambling through that scree there, come back downtown. And they usually come in bloodied up after falling on the scree, and it's quite the race. One of the cool things about the town is that you get everything from the ocean to the temperate forest to the Arctic right here in one little town. So it's kind of like a nice slice of Alaska. That's where the fishing charters bring in the catch and weigh the world record halibut here. So one of the cool things about the Seward Harbor and Marina is that you can actually walk down here and look at the boats. A lot of marinas around the country now, because of various security concerns, are locked and gated, and you really can't get down and look at the boats if you don't own one in the area. Here, anyone can walk down here and take a look. And if you have an interest in boats, it's pretty fun because you can look at boats that are for sale down here, take a look at different motorboats and sailboats, and also chat with crews that happen to be here, owners that are sitting down here on a weekend working on their boat, and chat with them about things. And if you're thinking about maybe buying one or want to know what kind of boat you might want to get, you can talk with people about it. This one's definitely decked out for fishing charters. Got all the rod holders there in the top. This one looks like it's lived on. Pretty cool looking. That's the police cruiser of the water. You're not going to get away from that very easily. 400 horsepower on that little boat. These little cruisers are quite nice for Alaska, where we often have inclement weather. Twin 225 Yamahas, 450 horsepower here. We're getting into some bigger boats here on this little pier, where you could actually live aboard them. It looks like people are. Another sailboat for sale. So if I ever get into sailing, maybe want to take to the waters for a new lifestyle, I'd have to decide if I wanted to actually do sailing or powerboating. Lots of options. This looks like a boat that people are actually using to travel the world and live in. This is out of Seattle. The Yahtzee out of Seattle. Wind turbine and solar, and a flexible solar there on the roof. So I was going to go do some bike riding today. I may still get the chance, but my son wrecked my mountain bike and bent the back rim. So I dropped it off at the bike shop over there, and he thinks he can mostly fix it through adjusting the spokes. Probably eventually we'll need a new wheel for it. But yeah, that's one of our favorite activities here in Seward, is to go mountain biking. And there's a lot of trails and different things you can go on. So I was just chatting with an owner there, one of the bigger power boats, and she said they're stuck in the marina today because something wrong with the boat, and that's just kind of the way it goes with boats, whether it's motor problems with the power boats, or rigging or sail issues, or motor issues with sailboats. But she says they don't live on it, they come down out of Anchorage to have fun, but they really enjoy the powerboat because they can just get places faster and more of an open deck feeling on it, and just being out rather than kind of down under the hull a little bit. I've heard other people say too. Of course, if you get a catamaran, then you get more of a up on the water feeling rather than being down, you know, under decks there like you are in a sailboat. I like this old boat. It's called the Quasar. A little bit of wood on it, just a nice touch. Wood certainly adds the maintenance. This one's all buttoned up for winter. Still, I guess, even though it's middle of summer. Cool little place where you can eat in a train car. So something else I didn't want to fail to mention as far as fun activities, just up the road here is the Resurrection River, and Exit Glacier is up there, about 15 minutes drive from town. And you actually get there, it's on the north end of town, so you get there before you reach Seward if you want to go there as a primary destination. But you go on up to the glacier and you can hike right up to the glacier, and also there's a hike going all the way up into the ice field above the glacier. So pretty fun thing to do. There's a cool place to eat out up there. It's a creperia, so they serve savory and sweet crepes. Great place to go for breakfast, just off the turnoff there. Okay guys, I came over here to the east side of the Resurrection Bay. This is Resurrection Bay here, and the town of Seward is over there. This is north, this is south, that is the west side. And I wanted to point out a few landmarks for you. Straight ahead of me, this is Mount Marathon, and you can just see the trail going up there to the top. And then there is a gravel road that goes out down here south of Seward to Lowell Point, which is another area where you can camp. You can also access a trailhead down there, which goes out to Canes Point, which is out here. At Canes Point, there's some World War II bunkers down there from defenses that were built at the time of the war to guard this natural bay. And it's quite a nice hike. It goes out onto the beach for part of it, so you have to time it right so that you can get there and get back between tides. Starting at the city here, we have the RV campground area, the City of Seward campground, and that's where we're parked right now. There's also the Sea Life Center down here, which is always a fun thing to do with kids and with other folks as well. And then the town just lies right here, and then we have the main entrance to the marina, the gantry that delivers coal to ships over there, and the cruise ship docks are right here. Also there's some fuel tanks, and you can see the airport, which is over there. And then this is Resurrection Bay, which comes from the Resurrection River and the valley that goes up there to Exit Glacier. An alternate way up Mount Marathon, other than the straight way up the front there that's quite steep and rocky is to take something of a jeep trail that goes up this way past the waterfall, which you can see right in that area there. This town has a lot of historical significance in the discovery and first settlement of Alaska. So what I want to show you next is the Seward Meridian Monument and tell you about that a little bit. It's just up the road here. So there's kind of a nondescript pullout for this Seward Monument. But looks like there's going to be a nice little bridge here to walk across the creek. And this is the first little piece apparently of the original Iditarod Trail, at least by what I can see. Here's the marker. Seward Meridian Initial Point, established 1911, rehabilitated 1995. It's the basis for land surveys that define 138 million acres in south central Alaska. Dew Point is half of a mile east of this granite marker. This marker was erected in appreciation of Alaska's rich legacy by the Alaska Society of Professional Land Surveyors, the Bureau of Land Management. So, if you know anything about land surveys and surveying, you know that there are, I think there's 35 meridians in the United States, which are used to mark the north-south points, the north-south lines by which everything else is measured off. So the 5 principal meridians in Alaska are the Copper River Meridian, the Seward Meridian, the Coteau Meridian, Fairbanks, and Umiat Meridians. So these are the lines that the surveyors established initially, and more important than that are the initial points, the very specific point that the surveyors established to start that meridian. And that was done here in Seward by surveyors in 1911. And what I'm trying to take you to now is the Seward Meridian initial point. Looks like the trail is blocked by water, but let me see if I can get there anyway. This is pretty important to me to find the spot. It's gonna be cold, I'm just gonna get my feet wet. It's worth it having wet feet. It's not very far of a hike. Little road here. My shoes kind of need a good cleaning anyway. I still have a lot of red dust on them from Hawaii. Hiking the Napoli Trail. So we are hiking up the original Iditarod Trail. Seeing the concrete marker isn't good enough. I would like to find the actual origin point for the Seward Meridian. Those are some seriously big Sitka spruces. Wow, nice.
Lots of sap on them.
Yeah. Well guys, it looks like this is the end of the trail for us for finding the Seward Meridian origin point. We thought we'd found it earlier, but I think it was just another type of survey marker along the trail. And when I put the point into Google Maps, it showed us somewhere near that location, but when I put it into my other GPS software app, it shows it further this direction, about half a mile or so. And I did look up the coordinates on the benchmarking site with geocaching, and it looks like, well, see, there's a lot of people who like to just go out and find benchmarks. Looks like somebody tried to find it in the wintertime and looked and could not find it. And then they did describe it as being about 2,000 feet this way through a wetland and bushwhacking through Devil's Club. And there's also a historical survey record that shows some guys in 1964, a three-man crew spent 2 hours looking, could not find it. And the only other record I could find was in the 1930s, I think 1935. It was found at that time. So it looks like maybe the marker is lost, and I think maybe the Geodetic Survey believes it's lost as well. We're certainly not equipped today to go find it. I'm wearing shorts, have my weapon with me, but I don't think we'll find it. This is the area back here that's just a wash coming down through the woods, piles of shale, which I think are washed down from glaciers above in the spring melt off. And then interesting, someone's shirt and pants are here. That's just a piece of cooler garbage. I found the cooler down the streamways. But as my daughter said, there could be a guy running around in the woods with just his underwear on. We don't know why the shirt and pants are here. And a candy bar wrapper on the ground. But in any event, we're going to head back, and we've given this a good try, but we're not really equipped to go bushwhacking to find this. Maybe we did think we heard a bear earlier, so fortunately equipped with something for bear protection. But hopefully we won't run into any. Beautiful woods in through here. There's some enormous devil's club covered in thorns. I want to run into those. And these are all devil's club. So that's what the whole trail, so to speak, was covered with back there.
Quite a while.
So guys, this is the historic Iditarod Trail. And it goes 1,000 miles that way to Nome. And looks like you could do pretty well with a four-wheeler on it. Or a snow machine in the winter. Or of course the dog sled team. So I just wanted to show you guys the Seward Library and Museum. Back in town now after our hike where we were attempting to find the intersection of the Seward Meridian and the baseline, the starting point of that Seward Meridian survey. And spent the afternoon reading, finished my book I was on. I got all the way through the Hunchback of Notre Dame and walked around town to see a few of the sites here. This is the library and museum behind me. Take a look at the beautiful siding of metal they have in the building. And then there's a really nice garden and mural here. Seward was declared the mural capital of Alaska after the 12th mural was completed a few years ago. And it sure has a lot of art in the small town. This is called The Irresistible Story by master artist Nicole Feemster, dedicated May 12th, 2013. I think I may have mistakenly called the harbor area the downtown part of Seward, but that's actually in the area that I'm in now. The historic Seward Hotel is behind me, and then a lot of the historic buildings are down in this part. This is the south end of town. So that's the Seward Hotel, and then I'll try to show you some murals as I see them around the area here. For instance, right over here, this mural commemorates the history of Seward. There's a picture of William H. Seward, who orchestrated the purchase of Alaska from the Russians for $7.2 million. This is some native art here. Raven the Creator. Natives believe that the raven is a spirit god who created the earth. Raven releases the sun, moon, and stars. Check that out, guys. It's awesome. And Fog Woman. So this, guys, is the real downtown Seward Historic Center. Then here's the Alaska Sea Life Center, and that was built with the funding from payments for the Exxon Valdez disaster, which reminds us of the importance of taking care of our local environment. The place behind me has public internet access for $12 an hour. Pretty steep. If you go over to the Seward Library and Museum, they have free access there. Like most small Alaskan towns on the frontier, there's lots of pubs. So bar, 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 bar. This is the Kenai Fjords National Park mural where mountains, ice, and ocean meet. 2016, and sign down here declaring Seward the mural capital of Alaska. This is now a restaurant, but it's the historic railroad depot. 1917 and 1964. So this monument is the Trailblazers, celebrating the Iditarod Trail Centennial 1908 to 2008. The Iditarod Trail is world famous. It starts here, mile 0 in Seward, Alaska, and goes 958 miles to Nome. almost 1,000 miles to the northwest of us. It was a mail dog sled route in 1908. It was extensively surveyed in 1910, and between 1910 and 1925 they hauled millions of dollars of gold out of Alaska, the interior part down to the ice-free port here in Seward. It is a National Historic Trail, and every year we have the Iditarod Trail Race, which is also world famous and commemorates the delivery of life-saving serum to Nome under a diphtheria epidemic.
Birds flying high. Sun in the sky, sun in the sky. You